What's happening? Episode 126. I am Shaine.
And I'm Nico.
And it's been quite a while since we've done an episode of our podcast together.
Yep. And I'm not pregnant anymore.
That's right.
That's why I was not on the last couple episodes, because I was so pregnant that I couldn't, like the last part of my pregnancy, I couldn't barely even walk.
Yeah, like sitting down was
I
rough.
couldn't. Well, first of all, I couldn't sit on that couch.
Yeah.
But we moved, so we left that couch there.
Yep.
So
it's like,
it was
get
basically
out of here. I don't need you anymore.
It was kind of a piece of shit couch, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's
why we have a new background.
Oh yeah, see, look at this lovely background. Just there's a little bit more. We might move it down, I guess, but it's fine for now. I mean, who knows?
Yep. But we kind of just wanted to do our first episode back. Kind of like an update. I mean, some of you already know what's been going on, but maybe not. Maybe like nobody knows the whole story, or like, our birth story and everything. Mm-hmm. So kind of just wanted to go through that. So I guess if you're here for weird news, sorry about that, because this is not going to be like super funny.
I was like, oh god, I'll just wait for the next one.
Yeah, actually, the next one is going to be funny. So.
Oh, it is?
You don't remember what we decided?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just say it's going to be funny. Just stay tuned for that.
Teaser.
Kind of.
Nice little tease there. Anyway, go ahead and get started with.
Well, I'm just gonna do a
just
whole episode
you. I'll
myself.
be watching you talk about it, and yeah.
Like he's not even there. Or something.
I don't know what was the whole thing. How did it go? I don't know. I have no idea.
Wow. Anyway, so I don't even know what to say. I mean, I guess. Well, first of all, I guess a lot of people already know that we went through infertility treatments. Mm-hmm. And then we went through IVF in November. Well, we went through 2 rounds of IVF, and our second round was in November 2020.
Yeah.
And that one worked. And
Cha-ching.
And we were pregnant with our first baby.
Mm-hmm.
Our son.
What gender is it?
I just said son.
Oh, anyway. Right when you said that is when I said what I said.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like the whole pregnancy, I was not convinced that everything would work out. So my pregnancy was, even though it was like physically easy, I guess, like compared to other people's pregnancies, it was very mentally hard. Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't sure like if we'd actually get to the birth part. I kept thinking like, this is too much of a miracle. This is not going to work out.
Right.
So yeah. And then, I mean, I guess that's kind of our mistake, because at that point I was like, well, we're not going to move until the last trimester, and I'm not even convinced this is going to work out. So let's just not buy anything for the baby until the very end, which kind of ended up being bad, because then we were scrambling at the end to get stuff.
Right.
Because our baby was born early.
Yep. Like a month or so. So it was 35 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we moved in my 3rd trimester. Yeah, I know that's like a really stupid idea, but it was just how our lease lined up. So we ended up having to move basically when I was 33 weeks pregnant. Mm-hmm. Which was like very physically hard on me. And my family couldn't really help because they had caught COVID. So, here's an episode that we're not trying to mention COVID, but we have to mention COVID anyway.
Right.
Because COVID, I sound like Trump.
Everything.
I have the accordion thing now.
Yeah. Everything that we're planning on doing, or that we're hoping was going to happen.
Now you're doing it.
But yeah, anyway, so everybody, like she was saying, we moved and her parents had caught the C word. But
the C word?
Yeah, the C word. obviously that wasn't in the plans. Oh yeah, you'll get COVID in such and such time. Yeah, and then after that, everything's gonna be great.
Yeah, and a lot of people already know, but my mom was hospitalized and my dad caught it pretty bad too. So it was just a nightmare because it was during our move.
Yeah.
So then I was like, great. So my mom's gonna die, and we have to move, and because they were supposed to help us move, and then I had to fly alone because, like my mom was supposed to fly with me, but obviously she can't fly with me. And I just remember like when I was in the airport, I was so pregnant that the like the airport staff was like, "Are you sure you're not going to go into labor? Like, we don't have to worry about delivering a baby on the plane, right?" And I was like, "I'm only 33 weeks. I think I'm good." Which was like, now that I think about it, it's kind of like a naive thing to think because only 2 weeks later,
I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to go. And
yeah, so like, I didn't actually go into labor or anything. I had started to not feel the baby move. And I had been paranoid the whole pregnancy about this. So, like, he probably thought I was, like, insane.
No, I did think you were insane. I thought, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and so then he's like, why do we have to go to the hospital?
Yeah.
It's fine. And I'm like, no, I think there's something wrong this time.
It was at a point where I would admit that I was being a big asshole about it. Like, just it'll be fine. Just, I don't know, we'll see what happens or whatever like that. But you're just adamant, like, no, there's something wrong. And
I was I was saying, like, what is the harm in going to labor and delivery and then see, like, they can monitor me and see if there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So they monitored me and they were not coming back. And I was sitting there all strapped up because, they put this belt thing on and they have like a heart monitor and a contraction monitor on you. So they kept me there for hours. It was like 3 hours before they came back. And I'm thinking, like, why are they monitoring me so long? So then they're like, well, the heart rate variability is bad and you're not having any contractions. So we're going to have to do an ultrasound. I'm like, okay, we'll just see the baby and see if he's all right. So they go into the ultrasound and they can't get him to move. And his heart rate keeps dropping. He keeps having heart rate decelerations, which is normal if you're having contractions. But I was not in labor and I was not having contractions. So his heart rate started to drop. And basically, so like we had been taking birthing classes for natural childbirth because our birth plan was to have a natural, unmedicated birth.
Keyword plan.
Yeah.
That's the keyword.
So I was like very wary of like, oh, hospital interventions are bad.
Yeah.
So I was very against C-sections, but they were like, if you don't have a C-section right now, something could happen to your baby and he may not make it because there's something going on inside you, but we can't tell what it is unless we get him out.
I think when they were mentioning C-section and everything like that, like they were being I don't know, maybe not, I wouldn't say pushy, but they were like very adamant on, we got to do this. Something may happen.
Yeah, because they were, I mean, like, so if people think like about the cascade of interventions, that's like a thing within like the natural childbirth, I don't know, like circles online. And like if you learn about natural childbirth, then you'll know that a lot of hospitals push interventions just because that's the way they're trained to. But one of the things that commonly happens when you have an emergency C-section is that you're in labor, and then because the labor is not progressing fast enough, the baby has heart rate decelerations while you're having contractions because you've been given Pitocin. But I was not in labor.
Yeah.
And I was not dilated at all because they checked to see if I was dilated. So I was not dilated at all. I was not having contractions. So the heart rate decelerations were from something else. Something was medically wrong with the baby. So they rushed me into a C-section after I was finally like, okay, like if God put me here in this situation right now, then I need to just go with what they're telling me because there's something not right about the situation.
Yeah, and you had felt like this for I think a week or so, like you were saying beforehand. So it wasn't just out of nowhere. Oh, we got to do this. It was something that had been.
We had been trying to figure out what was going on for the last week, and because he hadn't been moving, and none of the things that they tell you to do were working. So anyway, they rushed me in for a C-section. To be honest, the worst part was putting in the catheter and the IV.
Yeah.
Because like they obviously they did an epidural because they have to do a spinal block so that you can't feel anything from like here down. And a lot of people say that part was really bad and like the needle's really bad and it hurts. But maybe it's because I'm used to needles because of IVF. But that part was like nothing to me.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because everything was completely numb. And the only thing I could feel was like pressure like right here when they were pushing out our son. And I remember you were like with me and you were like, I don't know. It seemed like it just like hit you all at one time. So, because your whole demeanor changed.
Yeah, I think once we were in the, I guess the
room?
operating room. That's kind of where, like you were saying, it hit me where it was, oh, this is really happening. Like it's gonna be, it's gonna be any day, any minute now.
Yeah. We weren't ready because we were like, we have a month.
No, we weren't ready yet. I mean, I think even if we were like if it did come in by the due date or whatever, I don't know. I think the due date is just like a rough estimate, I guess. But even if we were going by that and he had come in August 8th was the due date, and he had actually, and you gave birth and everything had happened the way it was supposed to, the way it was planned, I still don't think we would have been 100% ready. I think this is something that you really can't be.
You can't prepare for completely. But we were not mentally prepared because we were not even done with our childbirth classes.
Yeah. I think we had to
we had like 2 more.
Yeah, it was 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember like I had all these things ready for like an unmedicated birth or whatever. Didn't use any of it.
Yeah.
Because I never went into labor. So anyway, then he was born on 7/7 at 6 p.m. and he was 5 pounds 11 ounces. And he was so they found out after he was born that indeed my C-section was necessary, despite what the natural childbirth circles will say, because they'll say that all medical interventions are not necessary, or like most of them aren't, but mine was necessary because I had a fetal-maternal hemorrhage.
Yeah, when he came out, he looked pale.
Which is basically where the placenta, so the placenta is a, like things can pass through the placenta, like nutrients from me to him, but it's not, his blood is not supposed to be able to come out of the placenta into my bloodstream. But
so it's just a one-way thing. It's not supposed to be two-way.
I mean, antibodies can go in and out, but not blood.
Oh, okay.
So he had a slow bleed into my bloodstream, and he was losing blood over the period. They said about probably about 2 weeks, which is why he just started like not moving as much, probably because he was very weak. So when he was born, he was severely anemic, had to have a blood transfusion. He had jaundice, a little bit of oxygen problems, but he didn't have to be on oxygen, thankfully, because by 35 weeks, the lungs are mostly developed.
Yeah. It wasn't until he was in the NICU where he was kind of saturating with the oxygen, but it was usually
whenever you put him on oxygen, though.
Right, but when he was in deep sleep, his oxygen levels would go down. But I guess that's normal, I suppose, when they're that age.
Yeah, when they're born prematurely, then oxygen desaturations are normal.
Yeah.
He also had a feeding tube for about a week. I think that's about it, as far as like what was medically wrong with him in the beginning. We were really grateful because he didn't have like a brain bleed. I can't talk. He didn't have to be on oxygen for that long. just like a couple hours. And like for the most part, he was like a normal sized baby, kind of. Like 5 pounds 11 ounces is you could be born at like a normal full term and be that size. Because when I was born, I was only 5 pounds 1 ounce, so I was smaller than him.
Well, yeah, if you're going by it, when he was born to now, I mean, he's growing. He's growing. It seems like he's just getting taller and taller every day. It's crazy how big he's getting. It's amazing. The whole experience of you feeling that something was wrong to where we are now, it just, some of it feels like it just happened so fast, and it, you don't really understand when parents go, oh, everything's gonna happen so fast, you're like, I don't think that's not true.
No.
But then
especially when you're up at night and they won't go back to sleep, you're like, this is the longest period of time ever.
Yeah, but I think it's because you're constantly just moving around. Your mind's rushing. You're doing so many things, and you're constantly thinking about the baby and everything like that. And it's I don't know. It's pretty amazing. And I think when I said before about my initial reluctance about everything that was happening at the beginning, I think I was going against the motherly intuition, I suppose you could say. And if it happens the next time, God forbid, but if it happens the next time, I'm going to be like, okay, whatever you say, we're going to go and do it, because
something can happen.
Yeah, because I don't even really know, thinking back, like why I was thinking that. Maybe it was just, I don't know. I kind of wish I can go back to that guy and just be like, just listen to what she was saying. But I know when all that was happening, like I said, when I was admitting I was a huge asshole, like I was a fucking jerk. Like I was just like, whatever, let's just move on, and hopefully we get to the due date. Yeah, I know. Who knows what would happen if you had listened to me.
Well, they said he would have been stillborn because he was losing blood.
Yeah.
So afterwards, he was in the NICU for 2 weeks, and those were like the strangest 2 weeks of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say they were bad, because he was doing pretty good, like as far as like milestones that they wanted him to hit, like being able to feed by bottle, and being able to like hold his oxygen and everything. But it was just weird because it went from like, like normal life, planning to have a baby, to like, all right, I gotta wake up, because I got discharged before he did, which was also really weird. Like, it's really weird, like giving birth and then going home without a baby. Like, it's super weird. I remember I cried a lot during those 2 weeks, but.
Well, I guess one of the other things about that was, and I mean, it's kind of funny, but we always look forward to, we're going to have breakfast, and we're going to have lunch at the hospital.
I know, that's true.
And eat dinner, because the hospital food
was good.
It was pretty good for the price. Not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, we were there for 12 hours a day. So we would literally wake up and then go to the hospital and eat breakfast, and then go see him, and then go out for lunch to the hospital cafe again.
Yep.
And then go back, because we were there for every daytime feed, which was every 2.5 hours.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because I was pumping, since he couldn't, like, well, I don't know if people know, but like if you're born a preemie, you can't really latch well because you haven't developed that skill yet.
Right.
So I was working with lactation consultants, but he was still having issues with that. And ultimately, I think what kind of ruined my breastfeeding journey was, being born preemie, not being able to latch, being a slave to the pump, everything like that. So I won't get into that, because the whole feeding issue thing was a whole other thing. But yeah, with the NICU experience, I was like super grateful for all those nurses and the neonatologists and the pediatricians and everybody.
Yeah. I still remember one in particular. His name was John. Yeah, I know. Like, it wasn't some special, unique name. His name was John. His name was
Smith.
John. Yeah, John Smith.
No, just kidding. I don't know.
But anyway, For some reason I remember him the most because I
He
think
taught you how to bottle feed.
yeah. He's like,
He
this
taught
do
about
this and you do that
he
and
taught
the way that we actually that at least that I do it is when I burp him is I have him on my leg and do it like that because I think before we were kind of doing it some other way I don't remember but yeah he taught us all that.
he taught us the paced bottle feeding, which is really good for premature babies or babies that had reflux, which ended up being really helpful because uh, he ended up having a milk protein allergy, which gave him severe reflux. So the way that we fed him in the NICU actually helped him later. So then, after about 2.5 weeks, we took him home, which was like super scary. Even though we learned from like the best nurses on how to take care of a baby, it was still like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I remember the first few nights I was like, this is impossible.
am I doing this right?
I was like, how? Well, actually, really, like the first 2 months, I was like, how did the human race survive?
I don't know.
Because like, I didn't have any support of my family because they were all sick, still.
Yeah.
And then like, so it was just us. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And he had so many other health issues too. So we were kind of like, he had kind of like colicky symptoms, like fussing and crying every time he was awake. So it was super, super hard to do anything. Like, I was just like, this is impossible. I don't know how anybody has lived or how, like, you go to Walmart and you see people with like 7 kids. I'm like, how the hell does this happen? Like,
I don't know.
I
mean, they have a really big family unit, not just the 7 kids, but other people coming in. If it's a single parent, they have other people coming in to take care of the kids.
Yeah, I guess
family members or whatever.
It would have definitely been easier because like things only got easier when my mom got here because she was able to recover.
Yeah.
And she finally came to visit, and that's when kind of like she brought order to our life,
Law and order.
Like she brought a routine, taught me how to do things.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So I mean, I'm glad that everything worked out in the end, and I guess the way that happened was for a reason. And I mean, I think for me, I guess specifically, like I've kind of gotten a little bit more patient, I suppose. I mean,
you're way more patient.
I'm still more of an impatient person than I like to admit, but I get pretty impatient. But with him, I've definitely learned and grown as a person, especially with my patience and everything like that. Because before it was just, I mean, you know how I am when things don't go right
the first time.
When things don't go right the first time, I'm like, it better be right the second time, because if not.
The hilarious thing though is now our son is like that.
I know it's weird how much similar he is to me, and it's
like
it's crazy.
He's working on like trying to roll over and stuff like that, and if he can't do it the first time, he gets mad. I'm like, you only tried one time, like.
Or when he's trying to like reach his foot and he gets mad because he can't. After like a minute, if he can't touch his foot in the car seat, he'll get mad. It's so funny. I mean, it's funny, but it's also, especially when you're in the car and you just hear a baby crying, there's so many emotions going in your head. You're like, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I better get home soon. Better get home real fast.
Yeah. I remember in the beginning, it used to make you drive like a maniac, which was bad.
Yeah.
Then you kind of got used to it, and now you're kind of like more calm about it, which is good.
No, it doesn't bother me, but I'm sure a lot of parents probably felt the same way, where the first month they're just like, how do I do this? Yeah, how do we get used to this? And now it's just like, oh yeah, baby crying, whatever.
Yeah. I've gotten more used to the night feeds. I don't know, like, because we got him into a routine. Now, actually, right now he's currently going through this first sleep regression. So if I look super tired, that's why. I was like, oh, he's sleeping almost through the night now. And then it went like from that to like, let's wake up every hour.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like back to newborn days.
It seems like the first 4 or 5 hours, he's fine. That's been more of a consistent thing. Once you put him down to him waking up the first time, It's about 4 or 5 hours. But once that happens, it's either he'll wake up one other time or he'll wake up every
5
hour.
other
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
So it's kind of just, I don't know, which one we're gonna do. Roll the dice and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it doesn't matter even if I do the same consistent routine.
Yeah.
But that's because he's going through a sleep regression.
Yep.
So as soon as he gets through the milestones that he's supposed to, then the sleep regression should end. So the faster he learns how to roll.
Do a barrel roll. There you go. Whoa.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to add to the story?
Well, I guess like for me, I'm still processing the birth because like there was no cause for the fetal maternal hemorrhage, so I have no idea why that happened. And it seemed like so crazy on top of like all the infertility stuff that we went through.
Yeah.
The
only thing
so that kind of still bothers me, but I'm just glad that everything worked out.
Yeah, the only thing that we can think of in terms of what may have caused it is us moving. Like,
yeah, because that's around the time when it started.
Yeah, because it was a physical.
I didn't like lift any super heavy things other than a suitcase.
It was just a stressful time at that point. I didn't
feel any like different symptoms or anything, but I don't know. Like I did have a lot of contractions around that time.
Flying. I mean, we
flew during our baby moon though.
Baby moon.
We had a baby moon back in when I was 23 weeks pregnant, and that was fine. Like nothing happened. We went to. I was so like paranoid though because I like scheduled an ultrasound as soon as I got there. I was like, we have to look at the baby to make sure he's okay. And then I remember that one was the cutest one though because he was like yawning in the womb.
Oh yeah,
and then he did the stretch thing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that now that he's like born and everything, now when he wakes up, he yawns and then he does the stretch.
Yep.
Like that.
So yeah, we saw that in the ultrasound. Wow.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you still do that.
It's pretty incredible. So yeah, the move that was stressful, flying that might have had a part to, who knows.
I don't think the flying was, but maybe like carrying around that giant suitcase.
Yeah, because I mean it was just you.
But I don't know, like, because they say like fetal maternal hemorrhage most of the time is caused by like a car accident or something really traumatic.
Yeah.
But then 30% of the time it just happens for no reason.
Well, maybe you're just in that 30% then, I guess. Who knows? But I was just saying that's the only thing that we can come up with as to what may have triggered it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But
yeah, I guess we're parents now. It's weird saying that because I feel like it's been forever. But
from the start of we're going to try to where we are now, like that whole thing in between, it feels like an eternity. But now that everything is where it's at right now, like now I can't even believe that it's already, as of right now, it's already almost the end of October. I just can't believe how fast everything's been going since then.
Just wait. It'll be soon July and he'll be walking.
I know. It's crazy.
And he'll be talking to you. That's the one thing that's funny because, like, since he was born early, he's, like, behind on some milestones and then ahead on some milestones.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we never know whether to go by, like, the corrected age or his real age. So.
I just go by when he was born. That's just me, though. Just when he was born.
Well, if you go by when he was born, then he's really behind on, like, motor skills.
Yeah. But he's able to, like, do the baby talk. Like.
But, like, yeah, if you go by, like, well, I mean, like, if we're talking about, like, his mental, like, talking skills and everything, he's, like, way ahead.
Yeah.
Because he's almost already saying his first word, and he talks to us like he's talking in sentences, but, like, in a different language. And every time, like, he sees you, I don't know if it's, like, a guy thing or something, but he'll be like,
Yeah,
like, hey, what's up?
It's like, wow.
And then he'll smile.
I don't know where he came up with. Where did he learn that? I never really do that.
Yeah, I don't see you going stuff.
Yeah.
I don't do that either.
Whenever I see someone out in public, I'll be like,
I know, right?
Look at me.
Nowadays, it's socially acceptable to, like, if you see someone in public, move to the other side of the street because they may have COVID.
Yeah, I know. That's okay now, but back in the day, oh boy.
I'm like, oh, thank God, now I can do that, and people won't think I'm weird.
Yeah. So, do you want to briefly talk about like the paternity leave and all of the things that were like all the things that are being said about that because you went through that, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, do you want to go into current events right now?
We
It's
can.
weird. Like this is a birth story video, but currently there's like some debate about like paternity and maternity leave, and I just think it's really dumb to diss parental leave.
Yeah.
Because when we were going through it, I can't imagine not having your support. Like,
yeah,
that would have been impossible. I don't know how like single parents do it.
I don't know. I mean, I think, and you know, maybe this is not, maybe this is me being naive or whatever, but I think people who say, well, I mean, parental leave is a, you know, you're a pussy, blah, 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 you're gay. It's like, I don't like. I think it's one thing if, because I know like for in terms of the whole political world and how that's and how it's kind of like I don't know how like entered the conversation now. When Pete Buttigieg and his husband had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you know? Did they adopt a baby or was it surrogacy?
I think it was surrogacy.
Okay.
I think it was. But they had done parental leave, or what was it, like paternity leave, or whatever. And he's the Secretary of Transportation right now, and people were criticizing him. And this is like where I get where everybody's coming from. It's like, well, there's something going on right now. There's like this supply chain crisis thing, and you're apparently supposed to be doing something about it, and you're just sitting there.
So here's my take on this. Like for people criticizing him for being off on paternity leave, shouldn't there be some other like delegation? Like those duties should be delegated to someone else anyway.
Yeah, like an acting.
So I don't really
secretary,
I don't really have much of a criticism
or an undersecretary
of the situation, but I think that the way that devolved into like paternity leave is for pussies is stupid.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't believe that paternity leave is for like bonding with the baby or whatever, or recovering from birth because they didn't give birth, which you could make that same argument for like adopted parents,
right?
Or like a a heterosexual couple who use surrogacy. But anyway, like I think that doesn't make any sense anyway, because the paternity leave in general would be for the father to help the mother, so because like take care of all the household chores so that she can breastfeed and stuff like that. Because in the beginning it's really hard.
Yeah, but man doing dishes, not man enough.
Yeah, even if she just gave birth yesterday, she should be doing the dishes,
doing the laundry. Pfft, what, you gay or something? Like, whoa, jeez. Okay.
You know what's funny about that? What? If you're a single man, who's gonna do those things? If you're single,
maybe get
don't
a
do the
robot
laundry,
lady or something.
Because then you're gonna be gay.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole to me, it's just like, I guess you don't have anything to say, so you're gay. Okay, whatever, I guess.
Well, the funny thing is that they actually are gay.
Wow.
So.
Wow. How dare you?
No, but for real, they are gay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you forget that Pete Buttigieg was not a woman?
I thought we had moved on from that guy.
From that guy?
From that guy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird that you see people who, I wouldn't say the whole identity, but they truly believe in family values, but then they say, well, paternity leave and maternity leave is stupid or whatever, and it shouldn't exist.
No, it's stupid.
It's like, okay, well, not everybody has the luxury of giving birth, and then the mom can take care of the kid and the dad can go out and work. Not every family is like that. I mean, I know it's crazy. That sounds really weird that every family is going to be exactly the same. Like, I know that's crazy, right? Not every family. I don't know if that made any sense before, but not every family is the same. I know it's.
Wow, what a take.
Yeah.
I can't handle this. I think we're gonna have to stop.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I guess we'll just end this episode with how do you feel now that you're a dad? With all those dad jokes.
Well, I mean, he hasn't cried yet. He has one time.
Yeah.
You're gonna think of the same thing. One time, so we'll end on this. One time I danced because I think he was in the stroller, and I just started dancing, whatever, because I kind of wanted to see how he'd react, and wanted to make him smile, or whatever. But he didn't smile. Okay. So I danced for him for a few seconds, then he looked at me. He went like this. He was like. And he started just crying like that.
He started screaming. Yeah. He started screaming like someone was gonna kill him or something.
I think I was dancing and maybe singing a little bit.
He was like,
"Yeah, only mom's allowed to sing. Dad, don't do that again, please." That was his way of saying, "Please stop."
That's so funny though.
Yeah.
Because before that, he was like totally fine, and then all of a sudden, just screaming his head off.
Yeah, it was like at least 3 seconds, I think, of just him just staring at me, and then he just cried out of nowhere. It was just like, all right, I guess that's how it is. No
that's
more.
how you know you're not supposed to dance.
Yeah. Anyway,
one of my friends on Twitter said that she would sing to her baby, and then the baby, okay, like Noah's age, the baby would literally put her hand up and put her hand over her mouth and stop singing.
Wow.
Noah likes my voice though.
Really?
Yeah. He'll be happy when I sing. But I don't dance, so I don't know. Maybe if I started singing and dancing, then he would be really mad.
But he seems to like your singing, so that's good.
Yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes I think he favors you because when he sees you, he's like, and then he smiles, and then he starts talking.
It'll take him a couple of seconds, but then when he sees me, he's like, "Oh my gosh, Dad!"
Yeah, it's really cute though.
All right, well, I think that's it for this one, right? That's gonna be it.
That's gonna be it. Wow, you're just really trying to keep it awkward, huh?
Mm-hmm. Gotta keep up with the theme here of us being awkward and yeah.
And what?
I don't know. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in and for listening and watching. I hope you got something out of that for our story, and for all the parents out there, good job. And for all the parents to be, you'll get there. And
we're some experts or something.
yeah. We're the experts on this. We promise. No, we're not. You just heard our story. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, I know, right? Just making it up as we go.
Yep. All right. Well, that's going to be it.
Bye.
Okay, bye.